Hello everybody, it is Greyhound and welcome to the channel. How are we doing today? So, I was doing a little playing with my 3D printer, making some stuff for somebody else, and decided I'd make one for me, and I thought this was kind of a good one back on my basics of lockpicking to show and explain things a little bit. Let me grab out, I'll just use one of you. Here's my handy dandy pointing tool. Let me zoom in a little bit. So what I printed out is this cross-section cutaway view of a padlock or of a lock. So you've got your lock body, the part up here where your spring resides, that's referred to as the Bible. This represents the padlock core, which I can try to turn. Here is your key pin, or no, your driver pin, sorry. This is your key pin down here that the key interacts with when it goes in the keyway. The whole purpose of a padlock is when you, or of picking a lock is when you press up and you're able to turn the key, putting the pin into the Bible where it needs to be. Now you have a bunch of different types of pins. The one I have in here right now is just a standard key pin. You can see that core doesn't move very much, which makes it nice, right? You can apply your tension, you can press up, it's just going to go straight up, get your set. Over here, you can see we have different types of pins. Here is a serrated pin. Let's trade out and put in the serrated pin. So now the serrated pin, let me give you a little closer view yet. Let's see if we can get that to focus up. All right. So the serrated pin, we apply our tension, put it up, and you'll see how it'll hang up on those individual notches. And with a regular lock, you'll actually hear the click of each one of those grooves as it clicks its way up and locks. So you'll feel, when you get here, you'll feel this click. And you're like, well, it doesn't turn anymore. It's not set. There's another click. Oh, there, now we got it. Now we got the turn. So that's one more style of pin. You pull that one out. Now another rather interesting one that you'll see when you get into your security pins is a spool pin. You can see you've got your top and bottom, the middle, almost looks like a dumbbell. Now here's where things get rather interesting with picking. Because when you turn the core, look at how far that core turns. And look what it does to that pin. Either way that you go, right, that's what you get. When you push up, you hit here, and depending on how well done and sharp the edges are, you can get a little bit of a hang there. But you can see, as I do that, it starts pushing on that core. When you hear people talk about counter rotation, that's your counter rotation right there. You're applying tension, turning clockwise, but as you're pushing it up, it's forcing that core to go back counterclockwise in order to push that pin up. And that's where tension becomes critical, right? Because if you are really seriously cranking on this tension, you're not going to get this. You're not going to push that pin up. So you feel that hit. If you're applying too much tension, you've got to relax, ease up on your tension to let that come back straight and push up to get the set. If you're doing light tension, it's probably just going to do that for you. It's going to push its way up, pull its way over, and do its thing. This one is what's called a mushroom pin. It does basically the same thing that a spool pin does, but you get this taper, so you get a little different feel on it as it scrolls down. But you get the same effect at the bottom. It's going to catch and push over that counter rotation. Now another one that I don't think you'll see this kind of pin in the wild lock, if you will. This is something you're going to find in a challenge lock or one somebody's custom built. And that's what's called this T-pin. And again, you can see huge amounts of turn in order to get that set. And usually you'll have a little stronger spring in there. So it's push, or a little longer spring, so it's pushed down harder. But again, huge amounts of rotation, and it just has a very weird feel to it when you hit a pin like that. Once you get it set, you get it set. So you can, in theory, wedge it. But again, if you have a strong enough spring and it's pushing it down right, you won't experience that, but you will this little lock. So it's a great little tool to be able to see what's going on inside of those locks. Now, there's the spring assembly, which is also 3D printed in the lock. It's very cool. Very, very interesting little piece of kit to add in. Comes with, well, the way I did it, has 2 different sizes of key pins. Again, depending on what kind of a pin you're working with or using in there. Let's take this mushroom pin. So there you'll see the same thing with this mushroom pin. You get a little bit of rotation, but as I bring it up, you'll see it'll turn even further. Unlike a spool pin where it's all the way the whole time. With this one, you'll feel that rotation. And then once you get here, that's when you'll get your counter rotation again to bring that up and shove that pin in. Just a quick little demonstration of what the different security pins look like, what they do, how they act in that body. That's kind of why I thought I'd make myself one of these when I was playing with that. I was like, yeah, that's a good demonstration tool. Be able to show a little bit more of how these different types of pins work and kind of what some of the different pins look like in a lock. My handy dandy Altoid tin turns out to be the perfect fit. How cool is that? Look at that. Everything just drops right in there, just as nice as can be. There you are. A little demonstration, a little show and tell on pins. Thank you guys much. Catch you later.